Have you ever looked at crypto mining and just thought, nope, not for me? You know, that whole world of tech gurus with basements packed with loud, expensive computers? It feels like you kind of missed the boat, right? Well, what if I told you there's a way to get in on the action without any of that hassle? Today, we're going to dive into cloud mining, which might just be the gateway for, well, pretty much anyone into the world of crypto.
All right, so let's say you're curious about crypto. You've probably heard about mining. You know, the whole process that actually creates new coins and keeps the network secure. And maybe you thought, hey, I would mind a piece of that. But then, bam, you hit a wall. And let me tell you, that wall it's pretty big. I mean, traditional mining, where you actually own and run all the hardware yourself, is absolutely not for the faint of heart. We're talking about forking over thousands of dollars for these super specialized computers. Then you've got to have the technical chops to even set the whole thing up. And then you're dealing with insane electricity bills, constant maintenance, and oh yeah, the nonstop noise and heat these things generate. For most of us, it's not practical. But what if there was another way? You know, a method that lets you just sidestep all those hurdles completely. Well, that's exactly what brings us to the main topic for today, cloud mining. So what exactly is it? Okay, put really simply, cloud mining is basically outsourcing the entire messy operation. Instead of you trying to build a mining rig in your garage, you're just renting computing power from a huge professional data center somewhere out there in the world. They handle all the hardware, the crazy electricity bills, the cooling, everything. And you just get the rewards. Okay, there's one key term you've absolutely got to know here, and that's hash rate. All this really is a measure of mining speed. Think of it as how many calculations a machine can churn through every single second. So when you sign up for a cloud mining service, hash rate is what you're actually buying a piece of. And it's simple. The more hash rate you have, the bigger your slice of the mining pie, and hopefully the bigger your rewards. And honestly, this analogy just nails it. Think about it. You get all the insane performance and the thrill of a high-powered machine, but you don't have to be a master mechanic, you don't have to hunt down all the parts, and you certainly don't have to build a custom garage to keep it in. You're just paying for access to all that power. Okay, so the idea sounds pretty simple, right? And it's definitely appealing. But how do you actually go from this concept to, actually mining? Let's break down the steps. The path here is surprisingly straightforward. First things first, and this is super important, you've got to do your research and pick a provider you can actually trust. After that, it's pretty standard stuff. You register, and you'll probably have to do what's called a Know Your Customer, or KYC check. It's just a normal identity verification for financial services. Then comes the fun part, picking your contract. You get to choose how much hash rate you want, for how long, and which crypto you're aiming to mine. Once you pay and give them your crypto wallet address for the payouts, that's it. You're literally done. The mining just starts automatically, and you can kick back and watch your earnings on a dashboard. All right, so we've established that it's way easier. But how does cloud mining really stack up against the old school do-it-yourself way? Let's put them head to head and see. So in one corner, you've got the hands-off leasing model of the cloud. And in the other corner, the super hands-on, hardware-heavy world of traditional mining. I mean, just looking at it, you can probably already see the difference in complexity. Now, let's really break down what that means for you. Wow, okay, this table really lays it all out, doesn't it? I mean, the contrast is just night and day. With cloud mining, you're looking at a low initial investment, you need basically zero technical skills, and there is absolutely no operational hassle. You want to scale up? Easy. And you're not on the hook if some piece of hardware dies. Now look at traditional mining. It's the complete polar opposite on every single point. We're talking a huge upfront cost, it's super technically demanding, it's a constant headache to manage. And yeah, if a machine breaks, that's all on you. So this all sounds pretty fantastic, right? Maybe. Almost a little too good to be true. And that's exactly why we need to pump the brakes for a second and talk seriously about the other side of this coin. We have to talk about the risks. Because simplifying access to something like this, well, it can create a whole new set of dangers. And listen, this is a direct warning from the source material, and it's one you really, really need to take seriously. The thing is, because you can't physically see or touch the hardware you're supposedly renting, the industry has unfortunately become a magnet for bad actors, for people running scams and Ponzi schemes. So the bottom line here is, you have to be so careful. So how do you protect yourself? You've got to learn to spot the major red flags. For starters, if any company promises you guaranteed returns or returns that just seem completely unrealistic, run. If they're not being transparent, if they won't show you any proof of their actual mining farms, that's a huge red flag. The biggest scams out there are the ones just selling you hash rate that doesn't even exist. And of course, if you can't find any clear info about who is actually running the company, just steer clear. Your own research is going to be your absolute best defense here.
And this really brings us to the fundamental question at the heart of all this. On one hand, cloud mining completely demolishes those huge technical and financial walls that traditional mining puts up. It really does open the door for pretty much anyone. But on the other hand, that simplicity brings a whole new kind of danger into the picture, the risk of getting scammed. So, is that trade-off worth it? Is easier access worth taking on these new risks? That's really the crucial question every single person thinking about this has to answer for themselves.